Hello friends and welcome to my July monthly reset routine. I have my goals notebook ready to go. I am ready to see how I did with my simple June goals. If you're new to my channel, I film these routines every single month, but my goals are always simple and realistic for the most part. So without further ado, grab a coffee, grab a tea, and let's check our June goals. My first goal was to be more present. I think that I was being more mindful about being more present during my day-to-day tasks. During my vacation, I took a vacation during June. I also filmed a few days of that vacation. I will have that vlog linked down below. But all in all, I was quite mindful about being present during my days. My next goal was to go to the beach. Since I went on vacation, I did end up going to the beach. This was a goal that I already knew that I was gonna hit. But I thought that it was a fun goal. It was also a nice goal idea for you, so I did include it. My next goal was to have a one no-spend week. I did have a no-spend week before leaving for my vacation. Then I wanted to do a deep clean of my bathroom, which was not fun, but I did do it. And now my bathroom feels 10 times better. You know, sometimes we have these tasks that we have to do or these chores and we think that they will take so much time, they will make us too tired. We just stress ourselves out basically. This is me every time that I have to deep clean my bathroom, and once I do it, I think, well, it didn't take that much time. It was not as hard as I was thinking, but it is tiring nonetheless because I have a bathtub and I need to get on my knees and scrub that tub, and that's not fun. But anyways, I did achieve this goal as well. Then I wanted to reread a book. I did do that as well. I reread Akotar, A Court of Thorns and Roses. And then I wanted to take Bella, my dog, to the vet for her checkup to do some blood work. We did do that as well. The results came out good considering her age, but I'm not gonna talk a lot about Bella because I might cry again and we don't wanna do that. We did that last month. So I did pretty well with my June goals. I think that most of the time I will not achieve at least one of the goals that I set. Yes, it's not often that I achieve every single one of them. But hey, June was a good month goals-wise. So I am ready to write down my July goals. Alright, so these are my July goals. My first goal is to create a trip plan. I have booked a trip abroad for this summer. The airplane tickets are booked, the accommodation is booked, but what I want to do is I want to create a plan for the days that we will have in this city. So for example, day 1 we have these things to see, day 2 these things, etc. I feel like visiting a foreign country is different compared to visiting a Greek island, for example. When I am in my country, I feel like it is simpler to just reach my destination and see things. But when it comes to traveling abroad, I think that it can get a bit overwhelming because I know that I have only a few days to completely experience a new culture and a new country. Planning a trip abroad is just more intense, personally, and I want to reach my destination being organized. Yes, the plans can change last minute, but I want to have just a little plan in mind that I can follow, and I don't reach my destination and I start searching the internet like a maniac to find which are the most popular spots that I need to visit or where I should eat and stuff like that. I just want to be a bit prepared. Then the second goal is to stretch every day. If you watch my videos, you know that I stretch often, but I want to say that the past couple of months I haven't been stretching daily like I used to. So I want to get back to that. I want to stretch every single day because I remember that when I was stretching daily, my body was feeling even better. Then I want to make a new recipe. If you know me, you know that I don't like cooking. I don't like cooking. I don't like spending time in the kitchen. It is something that I dread, but I want to try to cook more, and I want to try to make at least once a recipe that I haven't made before. Then I want to read 5 books. I think that I read 5 books in June, and I hit those 5 books just in time. Otherwise, I would have read only 4 books. I haven't read only 4 books in a while, I feel like. So I made it a goal for July to read 5 books, and that will be my motivation to spend less time on my phone and more time reading. Then I want to clean out my fridge. It is not too bad. It's not too bad in there, but it does need a little bit of a freshen up. So we'll make sure to clean out my fridge. And then my last goal is again about Bella. I want to take her to the groomers because I know that in August her groomer will be away, and I don't want her to get all messy and her hair to get too long. If you don't know, Bella is a Maltese, and we all know that Malteses need grooming. You cannot just let them be. They're not that type of dog. So I want to make sure that I book her appointment in time and that I take her there, because I also feel like she feels better when she's freshly groomed and she's not all, you know, long hair in her eyes. I think she likes it when she is groomed, but she doesn't like going to the groomers. The AC is on and I'm still melting. We're experiencing a heat wave the last couple of days here. I just miss cold weather, and not even that cold, just cool weather, a cool breeze. But what can we do? We need to have patience, and fall will arrive. I'm waiting for fall. Patiently waiting for fall. And let's go through my July mood board. I love it. I think that it is so pretty, and I love the color palettes that we have here. We have brown and blue. It is just so pretty, and these are 2 of my favorite colors, brown and blue. I mean, I love a lot of colors, but I feel like brown and blue complement each other very beautifully. So since I want to stretch more during July, I chose this first picture to be my reminder and inspiration for that. Then I have 2 pictures of fruit plates. Why did I need 2 pictures of that? Nobody knows. First of all, I love these plates. They're stunning. If I ever find a plate like that doesn't cost like 20 or 30 euros, I'm getting it. Also, I find fruits pretty. Is that random? I don't know. I find all fruits beautiful. They are part of nature. They are different shapes, different colors. Each one is individually beautiful. And if that makes me weird, maybe I am. I just love the look of fruits. And lately I have been trying to eat more blueberries. But tell me why blueberries are so freaking expensive. I'm talking about a small handful of blueberries, and it is expensive compared to the state of my country's economy. I don't think that the average family is buying blueberries, and we are definitely not buying blueberries all the time either, because they are very expensive. But I know that they are very healthy, so lately I have been trying to consume them more, but I'm definitely not getting them every single week. And then the next little plate has either a peach or a nectarine. I'm not sure, because they look very much alike. And I think that nectarines are a type of peach, but maybe I am wrong. Who am I to know everything about fruits? But I love both peaches and nectarines, especially nectarines. So I am hoping that during July I will get my hands on some really nice, juicy, sweet nectarines, and I can enjoy them, because I think that so far I haven't seen nectarines at my grocery store, or maybe I just didn't look closely, because last time that I was at my grocery store I was eyeing the cherries and I bought cherries. Tell me, why are cherries also that expensive? The third picture, I wanted to inspire me and to motivate me to spend more time in the kitchen. I mean, the girl is holding a plate of pancakes. I'm not planning on just making pancakes, but I just wanted a cute kitchen picture, and I like this one, so here we are. Of course, I had to do a bookish photo in my mood board. I have this picture with a book and a cup of coffee, which looks delicious. And I also love the beach, the ocean, looking at the sea. I love the ocean. I find it fascinating, but also terrifying. And I'm very scared of whales. Not sharks. I mean, if I'm being honest, I'm scared of all fish, huge, big fish, but especially whales, and specifically orcas. I think that's how they're called. The killer whale. I'm terrified. I have never seen one in my life, in real life, and I don't want to see one either. But besides that, I love the beach, I love looking at the water, the ocean, and I loved this picture because it is nighttime and we have a full moon, and I thought that this picture looked very beautiful, kind of melancholic, and just stunning. This is my July mood board, and let's jump right into my reading wrap-up. Of course, I had to come in front of my bookshelf for my reading wrap-up. You can also see my fridge, which is not ideal. It is part of my July goals, isn't it? To clean out my fridge. So kind of makes sense. So let's start with the book that I DNF'd during June. I DNF'd the book A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston. I just couldn't get into the story and into the characters. I found it slow and a little bit boring. The idea behind the book is very good, but then as I was reading it, I just couldn't get into it. And I did read a good chunk of it, I think. I kept thinking that it will get better, but it never did. So I DNF'd it. I'll probably unhaul it soon enough. I will give it away. I have a few books that I would like to give away because there is no point in holding on to books that I didn't enjoy and I'm never gonna read again, or I'm never gonna read when someone else might love them. So that is why I love giving books away. So like I mentioned before, June was the month that I did an ACOTAR reread. I reread A Court of Thorns and Roses. I feel like I was a bigger fan of this book the first time around that I read it. I mean, the first time that I read it, at the beginning, I didn't like it. I DNF'd it as well. But then some people told me to push through. I pushed through. Then I did end up liking the last few pages, pretty much. I gave it 4 stars the first time that I read it, and I gave it again 4 stars now, just for the memories and for the nostalgia, and because this is the book and the series that got me back into fantasy as an adult. But this could very easily be a 3.5 to 3.75 type of book. When I think about ACOTAR, the entire series that we have available so far out, I'm not that excited about it like I used to be. Maybe because I have read more books now, or maybe because we don't have a new book out and we have been waiting for that book for ages and the spark maybe is dying. I don't know. Maybe that I don't think that's the reason. Maybe it is because I have read more books now and I can compare the storyline, the characters. But SJM is for sure a phenomenal writer. Everything that I have read from her, I loved. Throne of Glass still remains my favorite series I have ever read. And I did enjoy Crescent City a lot too. Maybe if I continue the reread of this series, I will fall back into love with it. Anyways, 4 stars for the reread of ACOTAR. Then I also read Babel. Why does it feel like I read this book ages ago? Did I really read it during June? I guess so. I don't know. I have written it here to share it in my July reset. So here we are. I loved this book. I loved it a lot. The message behind it, the characters, the plot, the writing, everything was incredible. But I gave it 4.5 stars because there were plenty of parts that felt to me legit like a lecture. Like I was being taught stuff in a very lectury way. I don't think that's even a word. Ironic, holding this book up and using a word that probably doesn't exist. But all in all, this is an excellent book. I highly recommend it. I know that it is a very hyped up book, but it is hyped up for all the right reasons. And if you have not read it, go ahead and pick it up. Then I read As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow. Ripped my heart out. Eye-opening, moving, shocking, emotional, heavy, beautiful, excellent. Reading this book helps you realize what was happening in Syria, but not in a let me teach you and talk about facts way. You get to learn about what these people went through the story, through what the characters are going through. This was so beautifully created. It was very moving and I just feel for these people and I think, how lucky am I? How lucky are we? I mean, I cannot talk about everybody. I don't know where you come from, what you have been through, but I will talk about myself. How lucky am I? The nightmares that these people went through and a lot of people are going through nowadays. And I'm thinking, it could be me. It could have been me. It is probably out of pure luck, if you believe in luck, that I live where I live and I was born where I was born and I'm not directly facing a war right now or the atrocities and nightmares that other people went through and are going through. Anyways, this book was very emotional and eye-opening and heavy yet beautiful. I just loved everything about this book. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. Did I mention that I gave it 5 stars? I don't remember, but 5 stars it is. Then I listened to the audiobook of Funny Story by Emily Henry. I am still unsure if Emily Henry is the author for me or if her books are actually for me because Happy Place Place is a good book. It's not a bad book. The first time that I read it, I remember I gave it 5 stars, but it was at the start of my reading journey. It was almost when I firstly started reading again as an adult, and I was very thrilled about the book. But last summer I did a reread of Happy Place, and I think that I gave it 3.75 stars. Then I had given Beach Read 2 stars. I don't really remember. I didn't like Beach Read. I don't know why. It was not my cup of tea. And now Funny Story, it was not bad, but it was not great either. I gave it 3.25 stars, and I think that I will try to read also A Great Big Beautiful Life. I think that's how it's called. I will try to read that too, and if I don't like it, I think that I will stop reading Emily Henry, because maybe she's not the author for me. But then I'm wondering, what if I completely stop reading an author and I miss out on a book of theirs that I could have loved? Then I read Peaches and Honey, These Immortal Truths on my Kindle, and it was 5 stars. This is a historical fantasy romance, but keep in mind that this is the slowest of slow burns, and these books are not smutty at all. This is a duology. I also read Peace and Poison, which is the second book in this duology. The second book was 4.5 stars because it felt slower, but I did love it nonetheless. I know that this duology is not popular. I don't think that I have ever heard anyone talk about these books. I randomly saw a fan art book aesthetic on Pinterest for Peaches and Honey, and I was intrigued. I was like, which book is that? And I was not disappointed. You know, sometimes aesthetics do not lie. Thank you to that person who uploaded that book aesthetic little fan art situation on Pinterest, because if I had never seen that, I wouldn't have known about this duology, and I think that it is a very good duology and more people should give it a chance and give it a go. It did remind me a lot of The Invisible Life of Ida LaRue, but it was 10 times better personally. The way that we follow our main character Anna through so many years and her going through so many crazy things and seeing historical things happening through Anna's eyes, it was just beautiful, and the romance was beautiful, especially in that first book. It was such a slow burn, but I freaking loved it. And also in the second book, I felt like the romance was, the relationship of these two main characters was very pure and strong and real and raw. All in all, this duology is fantastic. I highly recommend it as well. I have been recommending a lot of books from June, it seems like, but I just loved this duology a lot. And these were all of the books that I read during June, and now let's talk about my June favorites. First of all, I rewatched 2521, which is a K-drama. I watched it with my partner this time. I think this was the 3rd time that I watched this K-drama. It is my all-time favorite K-drama and one of my all-time favorite series. It might be my favorite series, period. 2521, then I love Friends, and then Gilmore Girls. My top 3. But 2521 always gives me that nostalgia and that feeling of being a teenager or just a young person and having goals and ambitions and following your dreams so passionately and strongly, and it is just such a good series. If you haven't watched it, you can guess what I'm gonna say. I highly recommend it. It is on Netflix and it is just fantastic. I love this series with all of my heart. And my next favorite is Miss Vesta over here. I mean, her name is not actually Vesta, but she is supposed to be an imitation of the Veiled Vestal, which is, I think, a sculpture from Raphael Monti. I think he was Italian, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that the Veiled Vestal is a representation of a Vestal Virgin, which were the priestesses of the ancient Roman goddess Vesta. So I have decided to just call her Vesta. She was actually one of my name day gifts. My sister got her for me. This sculpture also makes an appearance in the movie Pride and Prejudice. It is in a scene where Keira Knightley is admiring some statues and sculptures, and I had seen that sculpture around the internet, but when I watched the movie Pride and Prejudice, I was like, this sculpture is stunning. I want to have something like this in my bookshelf, and I told my sister about it, and she got this for me for my name day. So obviously it is not the exact same as the Veiled Vestal, but it is beautiful to me. I love it. Then my next favorites are bookish as well. I mean, the sculpture is not exactly bookish, but it kind of is. So my next favorites are bookmarks. This one was a gift from my good friend. She got it for me from Austria, but this is a painting from Gustav Klimt, and I think that it is so beautiful. I love the gold details on it. It is called The Kiss, Der Kuss, so I guess that it is from Austria. And then I have this, which was also a gift from my sister. It is a smaller one, but it is so cute, and I love the little tassel. I love bookmarks with tassels. Is that called a tassel? I think so. But it is very pretty. And then I watched the movie Karate Kid Legends. I went to the cinema with my partner, and you know, it was a pretty good movie. It is not the style of movie that I would personally go for, but my partner does like these type of movies, so we went to the movies to watch it, and it was very pleasant. It was also very fast-paced, I guess because it is also targeted for a younger audience, for teenagers or kids, but not like super young kids. So I feel like it was very clear and fast-paced, so a younger person could follow and keep up. And guess what? I loved it. I might not be a teenager or a kid anymore, but it was a very good paced movie. And that brings us to the end of my July monthly reset routine. I feel like I have been talking for ages. If you have reached this part of the video, you are a real one, and comment down below a lemon emoji for the book As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow. I want to thank you all so much for watching this video. Hope you liked it. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye friends!